Hello! In this Cool Grad video, we're going to talk about the places to visit in Southern California. Southern California is a really vibrant place with Los Angeles and Hollywood and Universal Studios and all these cool, exciting things happening there. And there's a lot of interesting things to do in Southern California. So in another video, we talk about the universities in Southern California and what it's like to study there. But in this video, we're going to talk about the places to visit and things to do in Southern California. So first of all, California is located here on the west coast of the US in the Pacific time zone. So this northern part is called Northern California or the Bay Area, and the southern part is called the Southern California, or it includes Los Angeles, Irvine, San Diego, a lot of these interesting places. So from Northern California to Southern California, it's almost like a 5 to 6 hour drive by car. So these are the states neighboring the state of California. So we have Nevada and Arizona on the east. So from Phoenix to Los Angeles is about like a 5 hour drive, if you think about it. And then there's Oregon in the north, and then we have Nevada on the east, and then we have the country of Mexico in the south and the Pacific Ocean on the left. So these are some of the popular cities in Southern California. So there's Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, and then there's San Bernardino, there's Rancho Santa Margarita, there's Santa Ana, there's Irvine, and there's San Diego. There's all these places, and we're going to talk about them in detail. So these are some of the top cities in the southern part of California. So we have Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Irvine, Pasadena, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Rancho Santa Margarita. These are some of the most popular cities. So this is a bigger map of the southern part of California. So here we have San Diego, and from San Diego to drive up to Irvine is about 1.5 hours, a 2 hour drive easily. So Los Angeles is over here. So from Los Angeles to this part is called Orange County. So if you're in Southern California and people talk about OC, OC is Orange County. I used to work in Los Angeles for some time, and people always talked about OC, and I didn't know what OC was. OC is Orange County. So from Los Angeles to Santa Ana, so next to that is Irvine. So from here to here it takes about 50 miles, easily about 1 hour over here. And then there's Anaheim. This is the place over here where Disneyland is located. So near Los Angeles over here, somewhere here is like Universal Studios and Hollywood, where all these amazing movies are made. And then there's Ventura over here, which is famous for the beaches. And there's the Malibu Venkateshwar Temple, which comes over here. Beverly Hills and Bel Air, they all come somewhere around here. And from Los Angeles, a little bit north is Pasadena. So Pasadena is famous for Caltech. That's where California Institute of Technology is located. It's where Richard Feynman used to teach, and it's famous for the Jet Propulsion Laboratories. It's used for rocket science. So if you drive a little bit north, you'll have some more really interesting places over here, highly residential localities. So these places are really expensive, but they're also some of the most beautiful places. So the hills over here host some of the most famous actors, actresses, politicians, a lot of scientists, really rich people, billionaires, millionaires. The houses are so expensive over here. So a little bit north over here is a place called La Cañada. That's also very famous for the school district and a residential locality. So, and then a little bit over here is Riverside. So University of California Riverside is also very famous. So this place here is called Long Beach. There's Huntington Beach. There's universities over here in the California state system and also the University of California system, and they're very popular. They may not be like as great as MIT, Harvard, Stanford, but then in the tier 2, they're quite popular, somewhere ranked in like say between 30 and 60. So they're usually very popular destinations. So Catalina Island is over here, and you can take a ferry for half an hour, and then you come to Catalina Island. There's zip lining, there's a zoo, there's beaches. It's a nice place to visit. So Let's talk about Los Angeles. So it's popularly known as LA. So it's about 500 square miles in area. Population about 3.884 millions as of the year 2016. Interesting facts. Officially, the city of Los Angeles, and often known by its initials LA, is the second largest city in the US after New York City, and is almost as vibrant. The most populous city in California. So populous means number of people living per square mile. It's not necessarily the total number of people, but the density, the number of people per square mile. LA is known for its Mediterranean climate, ethnic diversity, sprawling metropolis, and has a major center of the American entertainment industry. Home to Hollywood, Universal Studios, etc. Most blockbuster movies are shot here. So the Titanic and Jurassic Park, and even like a lot of TV shows like The Big Bang Theory, and then Grey's Anatomy. All these really cool shows, they're like shot here. So let me tell you a cool fact. So I watch Grey's Anatomy. It's a medical show about surgeons, and I like it very much. This character McDreamy, that a lot of girls drool over. So this Grey's Anatomy thing is the whole show is shot in Seattle Grace Hospital, okay, and way up in Seattle, Washington, all these girls keep going there every day and waiting to catch a glimpse of McDreamy, but he's busy down here in Hollywood shooting for Grey's Anatomy. So those are like the interesting fun facts. And if you visit Universal Studios, you'll see all kinds of amazing tricks and things they use for shooting. Los Angeles lies in a large coastal basin, surrounded on three sides by mountains reaching up to and over 10,000 feet, 3,000 meters. So LA is kind of crowded, but it's vibrant, it's nice. Then there's Beverly Hills. So we all had this TV show, a couple of decades ago, Beverly Hills 90210. It was all about the beaches, and there was, Pamela Anderson, and it was a very popular show. So it was all about, Beverly Hills in California. So the area is about 5.7 square miles. Population approximately about 35,000 as of the year 2016. And interesting facts, originally a Spanish ranch where lima beans were grown, Beverly Hills was incorporated in 1914 by a group of investors who had failed to find oil but found water instead, and eventually decided to develop it into a town. It is surrounded by the cities of Los Angeles and West Hollywood. Home to many Hollywood stars, it features the upscale shopping street of Rodeo Drive. Now, Irvine. I lived in LA and Irvine for a few years, and Irvine is known to be more resident-friendly compared to LA. It's got more lung space, probably more greenery, it's not as crowded, it depends on what you like. I mean, if you want more nightlife and glamour and stuff, LA is the place, of course. But if you want it quiet and peaceful, a lot of greenery, Irvine is more resident friendly. So size approximately 66 square miles. Population approximately 238,000 as of the year 2016. Interesting facts. So every October, Irvine hosts the Irvine Global Village Festival to celebrate diversity among citizens of Irvine and Orange County. Irvine is home to the University of California, Irvine. UC Irvine, a nice university out there, and then which is the second newest campus established in 1965 in the UC system after University of California, Merced. So Irvine is ranked 7th nationwide among cities with populations of at least 100,000 for having the highest percentage of people who are at least 25 years old with doctoral degrees. Ha, that's interesting. Home to the Great Park. It's about 10 miles from Disneyland. So in Irvine, there's like this park called the Great Park, where they have a huge helium, balloon, which is tied to a big iron rope. So you can climb in it, and then it takes you up there, floats up there for a few minutes, and you get a view of the entire city. It's kind of very popular, and I think it's free. So and it's only 10 miles from Disneyland. So Disneyland is just 10 miles from Irvine, and it's home to all these really cool attractions, rides, and fairy tale characters and stuff. It's one of the most visited places in the world. Pasadena. So size approximately 23 square miles. Population approximately 140,000 as of the year 2016. Interesting facts: it is only the second city to be incorporated in what is now Los Angeles County after Los Angeles. And then the city is known for hosting the annual Rose Bowl football game and Tournament of Roses parade. So a lot of people talk about Rose Bowl. It's like around like New Year's time, I guess. So there's a huge parade and a lot of interesting things. And Pasadena is home to many scientific and cultural institutions, including the famous California Institute of Technology, known as Caltech, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Pasadena City College, Fuller Theological Seminary, Art Center College of Design, the Pasadena Playhouse, the Northern Simon Museum, etc. Pasadena is a nice place to be in. And if you're watching The Big Bang Theory, the comedy show, it's set to be like happening at Caltech. Those students are like researchers supposedly at Caltech. Yeah, those are the characters. So San Diego. So San Diego is about 2 hours south of Los Angeles. Size approximately 372 square miles. Population approximately 1.3 million as of the year 2016. Interesting facts: San Diego is the 8th largest city in US and 2nd largest in California. San Diego is the birthplace of California and is known for its mild year-round climate, natural deepwater harbor, extensive beaches, Balboa Park, Belmont Amusement Park, San Diego Zoo and Safari Park, and the SeaWorld San Diego. The city lies on approximately 200 deep canyons and hills, creating small pockets of natural open space scattered throughout the city and giving it a hilly geography. The Cleveland National Forest is a half-hour drive from downtown San Diego. So the University of California, San Diego is also ranked very high, especially for computer science and other disciplines. It's probably like in the top 20, in fact. And San Diego is most famous for like SeaWorld. Santa Barbara. Size approximately 41.9 square miles. Population approximately about 90,000 people as of 2013. Interesting facts: Santa Barbara is the county seat of Santa Barbara County in the US. And Santa Barbara's climate is often described as Mediterranean. The city has been promoted as the American Riviera. So Santa Barbara is like a nice quaint place. And then in addition to being a popular tourist and resort destination, the city economy includes a large service sector, education, technology, healthcare, finance, agriculture, manufacturing, and local government. Rancho Santa Margarita. Size 12.99 square miles. Population approximately 48,000 as of the year 2016. Interesting facts: Rancho Santa Margarita is an affluent city in Orange County and one of the Orange County's youngest cities. Rancho Santa Margarita is a master planned community set upon rolling hills. The city seal has the brands of Ranchos Mission Viejo and Rancho Santa Margarita and Las Flores on the border, with artwork containing Santiago Peak in the background. The tower in the foreground symbolizes the Rancho Santa Margarita Lake Tower. So, Rancho Santa Margarita is a highly residential locality. I had friends who were living there. It's called RSM, short form. And then, let's say like a 3-bed, 3-bath house would cost approximately $500,000. It's known to be one of the safest cities in the US. It's got some really good schools and libraries and places to visit. It's like really nice. And now we're going to talk about the places to visit, the attractions in Southern California. So there's Universal Studios, Disneyland, Artesia. Artesia is like a place where there's a lot of Indian stores. And Malibu Venkateshwar Temple, SeaWorld San Diego, Balboa Park San Diego, Delamore Mall in Torrance, Swaminarayan Temple Chino Hills, Great Park Irvine, and Catalina Island. These are some of the places to visit in Southern California. Universal Studios. So this is what the entrance looks like. And it's in LA. Universal Studios is a film studio and theme park in the Universal City community of the San Fernando Valley region of the city of Los Angeles, California. It's one of the oldest and most famous Hollywood film studios still in use. Universal Studios Hollywood is split into 2 areas on different levels, connected by a series of escalators called the Starway. These areas are known as the upper lot and lower lot. So there are 9 rides, 7 shows, and a large outdoor play area. so numbers probably increase now. So I mean, each a lot features a collection of rides, shows, attractions. There's food, beverage, merchandise shops, a lot of interesting things in Universal Studios. So let's talk about the attractions there. The most popular thing is the Universal Studio Tour. So it's like a tram, like a train that you get into, and it slowly moves along the entire Universal Studios, showing you different sets where the shootings are happening. And um, as we're going along, it shows you how they simulate fights, like car crashes and all these things, how they trick people into believing that it really happens. So there's one place where there's a big fight between a King Kong and a T-Rex, like a four-dimensional fight. And then there's a place where they show you where the Titanic movie was shot, and you'll be surprised to know it looks like they were all drowning in the ocean, but it was shot in a small pond that was probably not even like 5 feet deep. So they put a backdrop and made it look like the sky, and it's really interesting. It was shot in a small pond and not in the ocean. And you remember the famous movie Jaws from a few decades ago? It's about the shark that was like killing people. So as this tram is passing through Universal Studios, at one point you're on the train, and then the shark, it was like a plastic, a metallic, shark with a coating. It looks like a shark. It's a machine. So the robot. So the shark suddenly comes and tries to eat you. It's kind of nice. And then there's the Jurassic Park ride, all about dinosaurs. And then as you're passing through the Universal Studio Tour, you'll see sets where different movies were shot, and the kind of tricks they used. And there are some other shows like the Shrek 4D show. So we all know, we watched this movie about the Shrek, right? So the Shrek the ogre and Fiona the princess. So, and there's a donkey, and so a four-dimensional show is a show. So we all know what a 3D show is. Like, you put on the goggles and you see it in 3 dimensions. But the fourth dimension is like, if the carriage is rocking, the chairs start rocking. And if the donkey sneezes, the water sprays on you. It's like all these four-dimensional effects. It's kind of really cool. It's funny. And then there's the Simpson ride. So it's like this family ride. And then there are a lot of roller coaster rides and that kind of stuff. So there's other rides like the Transformers, the Revenge of the Mummy. So that's like you get in the train, and then it's fully dark, and the train goes really fast, and all these skeletons, they try and fall on you, and there's all kinds of horror sounds and danger, and the train goes really fast, and then it starts backing up, goes in reverse gear really fast, and it's like scary. It's not for children or old people, but it's a kind of a scary ride, gives you the goosebumps. And then Jurassic Park is a real ride with a scary 85-foot drop with a big splash of water. So there's Jurassic Park, you get in like a car, which goes all around, and you see all kinds of different dinosaurs with explanations about their characteristics. And then towards the end, it goes really fast, and it goes down like that, and a huge T-Rex comes and tries to swallow you, but it only takes a picture of you, so it's kind of really cool. And there's the Waterworld, the Animal Actors, Special Effects Theaters. It's for all ages. And then the Harry Potter ride is the latest addition to the park. So this is like the Jurassic Park ride. So at the end, you're in this kind of an open car fastened with a seatbelt, and then it goes really fast, and the dinosaur comes, and you think it's going to swallow you, and you're like shaking, and then there's a camera in its mouth, and it takes a picture of you. It's scary, but it's really nice. And then this is the Universal Jaws, the shark. So you're going in the train, and then suddenly the shark comes from the ocean, from the side, and it tries to eat you. And they also show you how they make flash floods, how they simulate the rain and all this stuff. Universal Studios, the tickets and passes. So front of line ticket, there's something like priority ticket. So it don't go on weekends or long weekends, because you'll have to wait a lot. And if you pay a small extra fee, and you can buy like a priority pass, so you can skip the line. And if you buy 2-day passes, which are valid for 7 days, and then you can buy a season pass worth 160 days if you plan to go again and again. And then there's Gold and Platinum annual passes with additional benefits. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think they're transferable. If you buy a ticket on one day, they allow you to reuse the ticket for yourself like the whole year, except on peak traffic days and holidays. So even though you don't buy an annual pass, I mean that's the way it used to be. Like last time I went there, so you buy a ticket for a one-day visit, and using the same ticket, you can probably go on many days throughout the year, as long as it's not like a holiday or a peak day. So that's the thing with Universal. But other parks like Disneyland, they don't give you this feature. So Disneyland. So it's this fairy tale world, and it's one of the it's the only theme park designed and built under the direct supervision of Walt Disney. So Disneyland in Florida, it wasn't done under his direct supervision. So it's the first of the two theme parks built at the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim, California. It opened in 1955. So when you go to Disneyland, okay, so from Los Angeles Airport, it's about 50 miles south, and from Irvine, it's only about 10 miles. And in Disneyland, there are two parks. One is the regular Disneyland. It's more for like kids, with all these fairies and cartoon characters, and it's more like for kids and families. And the other one is called the California Adventures Park. It's like right opposite to the other park, and that has more adventure in it. The rides are more adventurous, and there's roller coasters and fireworks and all this stuff. So in 2013, the park hosted approximately 16.2 million guests, and was the third most visited park in the world that year. So there are two parks: Disneyland Park for children mostly, and then the California Adventure Park for more adventurous. So Disneyland Park consists of 8 themed lands and a number of concealed backstage areas. So occupies approximately 85 acres. The park opened with Main Street, Adventureland, Frontierland, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, and has since added New Orleans Square, Critter Country, and Mickey's Toontown. The adventure park has many rides, roller coasters, and also underwater world, bug world, flying simulator, etc. So so if you're in like Disneyland, I mean, let's just talk a little more about this. So there's one thing called the underwater world. So it takes you through a ride in like a river, and the surrounding glass, it makes you feel like you're underwater, and there's all these interesting music and fishes and all this stuff, which is interesting. And then there's something called Bug World. It's like a 4-dimensional show. It's all about bugs and spiders, and it's a story about ants, and the whole movie comes, it's like a 4-dimensional show. So the chairs keep rocking and all these special effects keep happening, and in the end it's like they show you a mouse, and then there's something happening in the seat, something moves around in the seat, and you feel like there's a mouse under you, and you get up and run, and there's spiders coming from the top. It's like really nice. Bug World. It's a 4-dimensional show. It's not really scary, but it's interesting. And then there's the flying simulator. So it's like there's indoor a place where they pump up air and you feel like you're flying. That's one thing. The other one is a show where you sit, and it feels like they're taking you in an airplane and to all parts of the world. So it's like they take you, and you feel like there's sand dunes all over in the desert, and you're flying over the desert and looking at all the animals there, and then next thing you know, you're flying over the waters, and you feel like the waves are coming and touching your feet, and then there's then you feel like you're in the Grand Canyon, and then you feel like it takes you through different places, and you feel like you're flying right over there. It's like a kind of a simulation experience. It's really nice. And then there's roller coasters and all these giant wheels and all this stuff. So Disneyland has fireworks displayed every night around 9 p.m. So these fireworks are really, really phenomenal. And even if you're on the freeway, if you park on the curb, and you can actually stand and watch the fireworks. It's like really, really interesting. And so Disneyland offers an annual pass at an additional price if you pay a few $100s, where you don't have to pay per visit. So if you plan to have people coming to visit you and you plan to go there again and again, then you better buy an annual pass. The hours vary depending on the season and the day of the week. It's very crowded on weekends. There's one time I went on a long weekend. Oh my God, I spent the whole time waiting in the lines, and I was so tired. So Disneyland is usually open till about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the night. It's open quite late. But Universal Studios in Los Angeles, it's only open till about 5 p.m. So remember, if you're planning to go to Universal, better go very early in the morning, like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. And then make sure you do the studio tour first and then do the other things. And if you want to avoid the lines, you'll have to pay a premium price. But then Universal Studios closes at 5 o'clock, so keep that in mind. Disneyland is open till about 10 p.m. Let's talk about Artesia. Artesia is like in between Los Angeles and Irvine. It's like 25 miles south of Los Angeles and 25 miles north of Irvine. Artesia is a city about 25 miles south of Los Angeles. There are a lot number of Indian-owned stores and restaurants along Pioneer Boulevard in Artesia. So there's a place called Pioneer Boulevard. It's known for all these Indian stores and Indian restaurants and, you know, Indian grocery stores and stores that sell Indian clothes, and it's an Indian hub. So proposals have often been made to designate a portion of the city as Little India. So it's unofficial, it's almost like a Little India. So there's a lot of Indian stuff along that street. So you can buy gold, you can buy clothes, you can buy Indian food, so many things. So Indian restaurants in Artesia. The famous ones are Rajdhani for Gujarati food, and there's Pickles for Andhra food, and then there's Udupi Palace for Karnataka food, Rasbog for chats, and there's Bhima's, there's Rasraj, and you know, there's so many more. And this one is called Mumbai Ki Galiyon Se, you know, is for all this chats, and you know, there's so many Punjabi food, Rajasthani food. There's one place called Surti Farsan that has a lot of, you know, Gujarati food. You get all kinds of food, and it's a really nice place. And then there's huge grocery stores. People usually go there and buy groceries in bulk. And there's a lot of stores in Artesia. So this one is called Loveleen Sari Palace. So this is supposed to be one of the most economical stores in that region. So a lot of people, they go to Loveleen. And what I've usually seen is that something else might be marked like $200 in other stores. Loveleen might have it like at a much lower price. Usually, I'm just saying. Not as a rule, but you know, from what most people tell me. And so it's one of the popular stores there. And there's also many other grocery stores. There's a Pioneer, Surti, a lot of grocery stores, a lot of stores that sell Indian clothes and jewelry and appliance stores. They sell you Indian blenders and you know, roti makers and all, you know, all this kind of kitchen appliances and all this stuff. So there's this famous shop. Okay, this store is called Frontier Heritage. It's the Indian clothing store in a very huge attraction. All these non-resident Indians who want to buy designer Indian clothes for weddings and events, you know, from all over America. If there's Indians getting married, and it's like if they want really trendy designer Indian clothes, you know, for the bride and the groom, a lot of them come to Artesia, to Frontier Heritage. So like say a lehenga or something like that would cost about $1,000 to $2,000 or even more, but then it's like really trendy, really fashionable, really beautiful. They have really nice designer clothes here, and it's a very famous high-end clothing store, and they also sell all the jewelry, decorative items, and you know, stuff like that. So and then this is the Malibu Venkateshwara Temple. So Malibu is a city. It's like to the west of Los Angeles. It's a temple of the Hindu god Venkateshwara, built in 1981, located in Calabasas near Malibu, California, in the Santa Monica Mountains. Built in the traditional South Indian style, it is frequented by followers of Hinduism in Southern California. So this temple, it has a stage for special cultural Hindu programs. It has a very nice canteen that's kind of famous. In '97, the temple was used for a small scene in the movie Beverly Hills Ninja, starring Chris Farley, and in 1998 in a song in the Tamil film Jeans, you know, which featured Aishwarya Rai. So in January 2006, the pop star singer Britney Spears had her 4-month-old son blessed in a large ceremony by the Hindu priests of this temple. This event had worldwide coverage in the media. Ah, is that interesting? So there's the Swaminarayan temple of Chino Hills. So this temple has got beautiful architecture. It's close to, like, you know, it's kind of like the Akshardham temples that you see in India, in Delhi and in Gujarat. It's a miniature version of that, but the architecture is kind of similar. It's really beautiful. And then, but it's not anywhere as big. So So this BAPS Sri Swaminarayan Mandir is a Hindu temple complex located in the city of Chino Hills, southwestern San Bernardino County of Southern California. Situated on a 20-acre site with a 21-foot lotus-shaped pond, the complex has a cultural center, gymnasium, and classrooms. The complex is the first earthquake-proof mandir in the world. This mandir uses a solar power system to generate electricity and reduce adverse effects on the environment. It's the first earthquake-proof mandir in the world. Interesting. So the BAPS Charity Health Fair in Chino Hills is one of over 40 such fairs which the BAPS Charities organizes annually throughout North America. Del Amo Mall, Torrance. So Torrance is a city which is like about 20 miles from Irvine and 20 miles south of Los Angeles. So in Torrance there's this huge mall called the Del Amo Mall. It's like probably one of the biggest malls in America, probably the second or third biggest mall in America. Huge mall, lots of stores. Del Amo Fashion Center is a 3-level regional luxury shopping mall in Torrance, California. It's one of the largest shopping malls in USA. The mall features a food court, several anchor stores, including 2 Macy's locations, Nordstrom, JCPenney, Sears, more than 200 retailers, multiple full-service restaurants, a fitness center, and an AMC theater multiplex. It's a very frequently visited mall. SeaWorld San Diego. So SeaWorld is a popular destination in San Diego. So SeaWorld is an animal theme park, oceanarium, outside aquarium, and marine and mammal park located in San Diego. There are 26 animal habitats, 10 rides, 20 shows, 2 play areas, 4 special limited time events, and 11 distinctive experiences, including special experiences such as swimming with dolphins. So in 2017, the park will add 5 new attractions, including the Ocean Explorer, a dark ride that takes you through the sea while inside a submarine. Looking forward to that. There'll also be a Zehrer wave swinger themed to a jellyfish, and 3 other family-friendly attractions. So in SeaWorld, one of the most popular attractions is the killer whale, Shamu. So, killer whale is actually a misnomer. Killer whales are not, dangerous. I mean, in the conventional sense. I mean, they're not like sharks. Okay, they're actually very easily tameable, and they're kind of friendly creatures. They're huge, kind of black and white, and they're more than 5 tons in weight, 5,000 kilos, and they're like really heavy, and they eat a lot of fish, and they eat other things too. And but there have been a few instances where these killer whales have attacked their trainers and even killed them, but they may not have done it intentionally. So I mean, there were cases, when these killer whales, they come, they jump, they turn, they swim, they lift up the tails, they move in formations, they do all these interesting things. So the trainers are standing there, and every time they finish their act, they throw fish for them. So there was one time, I believe, a trainer was standing there, and her ponytail was like swinging, and maybe the killer whale, it's called an orca, the killer whale, maybe it mistook it for a fish, and so the killer whale caught hold of the trainer and took her into the ocean, and I think they were tossing her around, and then I don't know if she was killed, but I think she was severely injured. And there was another time when a male trainer was picked up by an orca, and these orcas, the killer whales, they started tossing him from one to another like he was a ball. They were playing. They probably didn't mean to harm him. And the guy was screaming for his life. He got multiple spinal injuries, and the audience thought it's an act, and they started clapping, and and next thing, I think the killer whale took him down to the bottom of the pond, and then he was drowned and killed. I think that happened from this killer whale named Tilikum in the SeaWorld at Orlando, Florida. So sometimes these killer whales, they like to be in their natural habitat. A pond is like a small bowl, whereas it likes to be in a huge ocean. But that's always the danger of using animals in captivity, just like with circuses. I mean, so there's a lot of, animal cruelty prevention organizations which kind of are trying to prevent people from using animals here, including the shamus, the killer whales. They probably want them to be like released. Dolphins are certainly not as dangerous. So there are shows where people ride the dolphins, and then you can touch the dolphins and feed the dolphins, swim with the dolphins. Those rides are kind of interesting. But SeaWorld, if you go to San Diego, you definitely want to see SeaWorld. So the Balboa Park in San Diego. There's not too much to do here, but if you go to San Diego, you see whatever San Diego has to offer, and this is one of the places you visit. So there's some museums, some attractions here and there. It's okay, you can go there once. So there's open space areas, natural vegetation zones, green belts, gardens, walking paths, museums, several theaters, and the world famous San Diego Zoo. So the zoo has a lot of really interesting animals. And recreation facilities, gift shops, restaurants. Placed in the reserve in 1835, the park site is one of the oldest in the US, dedicated to public recreational use. Catalina Island. So from like say Newport Beach or Huntington Beach, like there's ferry rides. So you take like a half-an-hour ferry, and you end up in Catalina Island. So there's a lot of attractions. You disembark over here, and there's like a small zoo, and there's like hiking trails. You walk around, and then there's beaches, and there's zip lining, and there's all kinds of adventure. And then you can spend a whole day at Catalina Island and then take the ferry back. So there's a lot of ferry rides, like almost like every half an hour, I guess. So Catalina Island is also an interesting place to visit. There's snorkeling, scuba diving. There's glass bottom boats. So the base of the boat is transparent glass, so you can see everything underneath. And these glass bottom boats tour the reefs and shipwrecks of the area. And then there's Lovers Cove to the east of town, the Descanso Beach to the west of the casino, and they're popular places to dive. So the island is 22 miles long and 8 miles across at its greatest width. The island is located about 22 miles southwest of Los Angeles. The Avalon Underwater Dive Park was the first non-profit underwater park in the US. The area is famous for schools of flying fish, bright orange Garibaldi, which teem in local waters. Parasailing is also often offered. You can do parasailing in Catalina Island. So it's like a parachute is tied to the motorboat, and then it takes you around and you feel like you're flying. Bus tours are given in the interior of the island. So usually when you go to Southern California and you want to see all the places that it has to offer, Catalina Island is one of them. So there's another one I didn't talk about here. That's the Big Bear Mountain. So there's like it's probably an hour from Los Angeles and Irvine, and hour, 2 hours at the most. And there's the big lake and mountains, and you get snow there in the winters. So a lot of these cultural associations, they have picnics and things like that there. They go camping and they go parasailing and they do all these really, really cool activities. There are a lot of hiking trails. So as they say in LA and Irvine, you're in the heart of the city, but then if you want to be in the midst of nature, you just have to drive about 45 minutes, 1 hour, and you're like in a huge forest in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's like a serene, nice place. So that's the cool part about California. So I hope you got an idea of what it's like to live in Southern California and all the places to visit, and I hope you find this useful. Thank you.